So back in 2019, when you worked at Disney, the Disney Corporation, you could expect a long and pretty stable career. It's a huge company, lots of things you could keep doing there at a pretty good salary. And the only cost would be you have to follow the rules. Disney at the time was getting increasingly political, and the people who worked there were expected to go along with this. So don't say anything and you'll be absolutely fine. But for some reason, she could not follow that rule.
Imagine going up against the most powerful entertainment company in the world and actually winning. That's exactly what former MMA fighter turned actress Gina Carano is doing in a legal showdown that has top Disney executives breaking a sweat. A judge just delivered Carano her most significant victory yet, and the ripple effects could send shockwaves throughout Hollywood.
Win big against Disney. Lawsuit discovery battle. Judge orders Disney to hand over actors' pay records. Boy, we're going to learn what everybody made on these movies to see exactly how much they stole from the great Gina Carano. Again, a character that everybody loved.
But listen to this. This latest development isn't just a legal win. It could force Disney to unveil some of its most closely guarded secrets, pulling back the curtain on how decisions are really made in the industry.
I don't worship your business, and my God is bigger than Disney. So this is where I'm at.
Gina Carano was a popular MMA fighter who did 7 episodes of the show Mandalorian, playing the character of Cara Dune.
So how did one actress manage to challenge a media empire and come out on top? At least so far. Let's dive into the story the mainstream media would rather keep quiet. Before she was taking on Disney in court, Gina Carano was already a force to be reckoned with in the fighting world. As one of the trailblazers of women's MMA, she carved out a name for herself with grit, skill, and undeniable presence. That same energy carried over when she made the leap to acting, eventually scoring a high-profile role in Disney's flagship Star Wars series on Disney+, The Mandalorian.
Did you see, Stu, that Gina Carano has just won a lawsuit against Disney?
Yeah, that doesn't normally happen, does it?
No, it really,
Disney has some big lawyers.
No.
As Cara Dune, Carano quickly became a standout. A tough, no-nonsense character who resonated with fans across the board. Her background in combat sports gave the role an authenticity that set her apart, and audiences took notice. She wasn't just playing a warrior, she was one.
What an evil empire, man. Gina Carano had so much evil, vicious venom spat on her from Disney on the way out. People clearly had an agenda.
But that's not all. Carano's popularity wasn't just a fluke. She had the makings of a long-term star within the Star Wars universe. With strong fan support and a growing presence on screen, everything pointed to a lasting partnership with the galaxy far, far away.
It says Gina Carano wins big against Disney in lawsuit discovery battle. Judge orders Disney to hand over actor pay records within 20 days.
But in February 2021, that seemingly promising relationship came to a sudden and dramatic halt. After a series of social media posts sparked backlash, Disney and Lucasfilm swiftly announced they had no plans to work with Gina Carano moving forward. On the very same day, she was dropped by her talent agency, effectively cutting her off from major opportunities in Hollywood overnight.
Discovery motion granted. That's right. In the Gina Carano case against Disney.
It gets crazier. Just before her firing, rumors were swirling about a possible Cara Dune spinoff series, suggesting that Carano was being positioned for an even bigger role within the Star Wars universe. The abruptness of her removal left fans stunned and confused.
Gina Carano had a promising career where she was going to get her own Star Wars show, but then she was fired, but now she's fighting back, suing Disney.
What truly ignited controversy, however, wasn't just the firing itself. It was the glaring contrast in how Disney had responded to other actors' controversial comments in the past. To many, it looked like a clear double standard, and that perceived inconsistency would soon become the driving force behind a bold and unprecedented legal battle, one that could change how Hollywood handles accountability, bias, and free expression.
Someone like Gina Carano, who's a fighter by trade, and who's like actually a beloved, strong female character that Disney had. Like Disney had one universally appreciated strong female character, and they destroyed her for nothing. There was nothing wrong with Gina Carano's post. Nothing wrong. Nothing.
Most actors who face career setbacks in Hollywood either quietly move on or fade into the background. Gina Carano, however, chose a different path, one that few saw coming. Rather than accept what many viewed as an unjust blacklisting, she decided to fight back.
8 months ago, Disney took a massive loss in their battle against Gina Carano, whom they fired unlawfully, by the way, for her political opinion.
But listen to this. In a twist straight out of a movie, Elon Musk's legal team reached out to Carano, offering to back a lawsuit against Disney for wrongful termination and discrimination. With a powerhouse team of attorneys behind her, Carano filed suit, alleging that she was targeted for her personal views, while other actors with opposing political perspectives face no repercussions for similar behavior.
In 2021, for all of these people, this Disney and Lucasfilm, to make me really think about, oh geez, where is my line? That's not what I want to say, and that's not what I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
At first, industry insiders brushed off the lawsuit. Disney, after all, is known for having some of the most elite legal teams in the business and a long history of making problems disappear. Many expected the case to be swiftly dismissed.
She said she did all the meetings and built a good relationship with the LGBT people that she met, but she wouldn't agree to Disney's plan to ever do a full apology. Then after that, Gina Carano was fired by Disney after making a pretty stupid tweet comparing the left to Nazis in Germany. But now, years later, she's coming out suing Disney for wrongful termination, and Elon Musk is financing the lawsuit.
But then came the first major shock. A judge ruled that the case could move forward, rejecting Disney's efforts to shut it down. Suddenly, what seemed like a long shot became a very real threat to one of the most powerful companies in entertainment.
Nastiest attorney firm in the history of the world. I don't think there's any corporation that is more nasty than the Disney Corporation.
The real bombshell dropped just days ago, and it could change everything. After 8 months of what Gina Carano's legal team has called deflection and stalling, a federal judge finally dropped the hammer. Disney must turn over detailed actor pay records within just 20 days.
And of course, Gina Carano, with the help of Elon Musk's lawyers, decided to go after Disney, file a lawsuit.
It gets worse. This isn't just routine paperwork. The court is demanding what many consider the crown jewels of Hollywood confidentiality: precise salary data for top-tier talent across the Star Wars universe. That includes compensation details for actors like Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and others involved in The Mandalorian, Andor, and even the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu film.
The order comes after 8 months of what Carano described as Disney's deflection and stalling in her wrongful termination lawsuit.
Disney fought aggressively to keep this information sealed, deploying its legal muscle in an attempt to block the order. So naturally, the big question now is, what are they so desperate to hide? The answer could expose not only potential pay disparities, but also how internal decisions are influenced, maybe even revealing the very double standards Carano's lawsuit is built around.
But I feel like you're pushing your ideologies on me, and you are, and you're backing me into corners that I had to draw a line, and they kept crossing it.
The stakes couldn't be higher for either side. Gina Carano's lawsuit rests on a powerful claim that she lost out on millions in future earnings due to what her legal team calls ideological discrimination. According to her attorneys, had she not been cut from The Mandalorian and sidelined by Disney, she would have continued to land major roles, including a rumored spinoff, and earn compensation on par with other leading Star Wars actors.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig, and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
But it gets even more serious. To prove that Carano's legal team is zeroing in on the newly ordered pay records by comparing her projected earnings to actual salaries paid to stars like Pedro Pascal and Rosario Dawson, they hope to quantify the financial damage Disney's decision caused. If those numbers show she was on track to earn similar high-dollar paydays, the monetary fallout for Disney could be enormous.
Despite holding completely different standards for other people in their employment.
Even more troubling for the entertainment giant is what those records might reveal beyond just dollar amounts. Industry insiders are buzzing about the potential for a deeper scandal: systematic disparities in how Disney treats actors based on their political views. Some speculate that buried in those spreadsheets and internal emails could be a smoking gun, direct evidence that Carano was targeted not for her performance or professionalism, but for her personal beliefs. And if that's the case, This lawsuit could blow the door wide open on how Hollywood really works behind the scenes.
In fact, the judge kind of smacked Disney down in the aftermath of this ruling, saying that Disney has provided absolutely nothing that could justify their actions in this case, and it would move forward to trial.
The ripple effects of this case reach far beyond one actress and one corporation. All across Hollywood, executives are watching with growing unease. For decades, major studios have exercised near-tenal control over hiring and firing decisions, often relying on vague morality clauses or citing concerns about brand alignment to justify cutting ties with talent. But Carano's lawsuit is challenging that status quo, and if she succeeds, the fallout could be seismic.
Moment where you were going to come back. You're the OG.
Oh, well, I mean... Gosh, there was...
No, you're the OG.
Thank you.
In terms of women's MMA, who is more OG than you? You're the original star.
Well, like, not MMA, but like Lucia Riker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Muay Thai, yeah. And in boxing, yeah. And then there's Christy Martin and, you know, a lot of other folks.
And then there was like the Debbie Purcells and Erin...
Ann Wolfe.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of like women combat sports athletes, but in terms of MMA, you're the OG.
Well, I appreciate that coming from you. That means a lot.
The reason this is happening, Carano isn't just seeking compensation. She's forcing Disney to reveal how and why key decisions were made behind closed doors. If her legal team manages to expose internal communications or patterns of selective enforcement based on personal beliefs, it could open the floodgates for other performers to challenge their own terminations, suspensions, or silent blacklistings.
If I'm not supposed to go back to storytelling in Hollywood and nobody's hiring me because I got completely shamed, then okay, I'll let it go if I have to. And as soon as I did that, a week later is when Elon Musk's attorneys who he had hired out emailed me and said, we're interested in looking into your case.
That's exactly what has Hollywood nervous. The entertainment industry is built on carefully curated public images, guarded reputations, and tightly managed narratives. Carano's lawsuit threatens to tear down that facade and reveal the messy, politically charged machinery working behind the scenes.
Well, here we are 8 months later, and somehow, some way, it looks like Disney doesn't want to turn over some of their internal data. Isn't that weird? Despite the fact that they were ordered to do so by a judge, Disney's been dragging their feet. Gina Carano accuses Disney of stonewalling as trial date delayed to 2026. Effectively, that Disney hasn't handed over all the discovery that they're supposed to. They're taking every route they can to get out of this. They're trying to delay, they're trying to deflect, they don't want to give up what they've been ordered to give up.
And perhaps that's why the mainstream media has been so quiet about this case. Despite its potential to reshape how power is wielded in the entertainment world, coverage has been minimal, almost suspiciously so. But as more details emerge, ignoring it may no longer be an option.
Now, let me just say that this is something that Disney could have done in the way that almost every single entity ever does this, which is to say, you are going to have to do it anyway. Just be polite. This is a formality, Disney. But you know what? Another win is another win.
So once again, they need to have the judge step in, and once again, Gina Carano gets a massive win against Disney.
Inside Disney, tensions are reportedly reaching a boiling point. According to insiders, a quiet civil war is unfolding among top executives as the Carano case escalates. One faction is pushing to offer her a substantial settlement, hoping to end the legal battle before even more damaging information is dragged into the spotlight. They fear the consequences of internal documents becoming public, pay disparities, potential bias, and communications that could undermine the company's carefully crafted image.
Gina Carano wins big against Disney in lawsuit discovery battle. Judge orders Disney to hand over actor pay records within 20 days.
It gets crazier. Another group within Disney is adamant about fighting the lawsuit to the bitter end. For them, it's about defending a principle and avoiding a dangerous precedent. They worry that settling with Carano could open the floodgates for similar lawsuits from other actors who believe they were punished for their beliefs rather than their behavior.
In a major legal victory for Gina Carano and her lawsuit against Disney, the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California has granted a motion to compel Disney to turn over key documents related to how other Star Wars actors were compensated, including big names like Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and the cast of The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Meanwhile, Gina Carano shows no signs of backing down. With Elon Musk's legal and financial backing, she has the resources and resolve to take this fight as far as it needs to go. In a recent statement, she reaffirmed her commitment to seeing the truth come out, saying, "I look forward to the details of my case becoming public and clearing my name, which will allow me to continue to do what I love without such brutal discrimination."
The court is forcing Disney to turn over information about how the stars like Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and others from The Mandalorian and other Disney Plus Star Wars shows and the following upcoming movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, were compensated for their roles. Oh my gosh, we're going to get all that information.
As both sides dig in, the stakes continue to rise, not just for Carano and Disney, but for the entire entertainment industry. So what happens next? Disney is now staring down a critical deadline, one that could determine the future of this entire case. The court has given the company just 20 days to turn over complete, unredacted compensation records for key Star Wars actors. If Disney complies, those documents could become a game changer, potentially validating Gina Carano's claims and reshaping the narrative around her dismissal.
In this high-stakes battle by playing procedural games. And that seems to be what Disney has been doing, trying to delay. And I think, this is speculation on my part, but I think they're trying to delay to the point that this trial, the lawsuit, lands after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is out. They haven't managed to do that yet.
But listen to this. If Disney continues to resist or submits incomplete or sanitized information, they could face serious legal consequences, including court-imposed sanctions. That would hand Carano a major advantage before the trial even begins, possibly strengthening her position in both the courtroom and the court of public opinion.
Now, of course, Gina Carano did tweet about this. This is a small breath of fresh air in this long, arduous process. I'm grateful to the court for moving so quickly. I look forward to the details of my case becoming public and clearing my name, which will allow me to continue to do what I love without such brutal discrimination. I remain incredibly grateful for this opportunity to defend myself against this Goliath.
Well, the actual trial isn't scheduled until 2026, a delay many believe strategically benefits Disney by keeping any explosive revelations under wraps until after the release of several high-stakes Star Wars projects. This current discovery battle marks a pivotal moment. What happens in the next few weeks could not only shift the momentum of the case, but also expose deeper truths about how Hollywood handles dissent, discrimination, and damage control. One thing is clear, the curtain is starting to lift, and the industry is holding its breath. The ultimate question isn't just whether Gina Carano will win her case against Disney. It's whether this unprecedented legal challenge will transform how entertainment giants operate in the future. For decades, studios have wielded enormous power over the careers of actors, writers, and directors. One controversial statement, one disagreement with prevailing opinions, and a promising career could vanish overnight. Carano's refusal to quietly accept this fate and her success in forcing transparency from one of the world's most secretive corporations signals that the balance of power might finally be shifting. As we await Disney's response to the court order, one thing is clear. This is no longer just about one actress and one role. It's about who truly controls the stories we see on screen and whether those who create our entertainment are truly free to express themselves off camera. Whether you supported Carano's original statements or not, her fight for transparency and equal treatment could benefit everyone who dreams of making it in Hollywood without sacrificing their authentic voice. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell to stay updated on this developing story. Unlike Disney, we won't make you pay extra for the real behind-the-scenes drama. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Is Gina Carano about to change Hollywood forever? Or will Disney find a way to maintain their iron grip on the industry? The countdown has begun.